Suwan sat on the edge of her bed, staring down at the pregnancy test in her hands. The two pink lines glared back at her, clear as day. Her heart pounded in her chest. She and David had talked about this moment so many times. He wanted children, and so did she, but they had always worried about money, about their future, about whether or not they were truly ready. "David," she whispered, looking toward the bathroom door. David Toborowski, her ever-loving husband, peeked his head inside. His face was filled with concern. "What's wrong, love?" Annie took a deep breath and turned the test toward him. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, David didn't react. Then, his eyes widened. His lips curled into a shaky smile. "Are you serious?" Annie nodded, and suddenly, she was in his arms, the warmth of his embrace making her feel safe. "Annie, this is amazing," he whispered into her hair. "We're going to be parents." Tears welled up in her eyes. She wanted to be happy, she was happy, but deep inside, fear gnawed at her. Because Annie knew that childbirth was no small thing. And she had heard the stories. The pain. The struggle. The unknown. And for the first time, she was truly scared. Annie sat in the doctor's office, nervously rubbing her hands together. "So, how do you feel?" Dr. Martinez, her obstetrician, asked kindly. Annie forced a smile. Excited. But, also scared. David, who was sitting beside her, squeezed her hand. "She's been reading too much online." Dr. Martinez chuckled. "That's common. But Annie, let's talk about it. What worries you the most?" Annie hesitated before speaking. "The pain." The doctor nodded, understanding. Childbirth is different for every woman. Some have quick deliveries, and some take longer. But yes, pain is a natural part of it. David frowned. "Is there anything we can do to make it easier?" Dr. Martinez leaned back in his chair. "There are options, epidurals, pain management techniques, breathing exercises." "But Annie, I want to be honest. Every birth comes with challenges. It's important to prepare, physically and emotionally." Annie swallowed hard. "What if something goes wrong?" Dr. Martinez smiled reassuringly. "We'll be here every step of the way." But despite his reassurance, Annie left the office that day with a heavy heart. The fear hadn't gone away. A week later, Annie called her mother in Thailand. "Mama, I have news." Her mother's warm voice filled the phone. "What is it, my love?" Annie took a deep breath. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, silence. Then, her mother let out a delighted laugh. "Oh, Annie. This is wonderful." Annie smiled, but before she could say anything else, her mother's voice turned serious. "Annie, listen to me. Childbirth is not easy." A lump formed in Annie's throat. "I know." "No, you don't know," her mother pressed. "It is the hardest pain you will ever feel. But you are strong, my daughter. And you will get through it." Tears filled Annie's eyes.